the summation of my feelings about how awful Episode 8 is. So, today, I rewatched Episode 6. Because I wanted to. Because the other day I watched Episode 8. I want to watch another movie. I like Episode 6 quite a lot. And I think this moment here really highlights the absolute failure of Luke's character, which I did not notice before, because I have not watched any of the Star Wars movies since before Episode 7 came out. I did not watch Episodes 1 through 6, and I haven't seen them in like 4 or 5 years. Maybe not that long. Maybe like 3 years. It's been a while. But this interaction right here, I feel the good in you, the conflict, right? So you gotta understand, this is father-son conflict, right? And he feels the good in him. He doesn't want to. You know, you couldn't bring yourself to kill me before. I don't believe you'll destroy me now. And then they get into the little fight, you know, and all that stuff. I will not fight you. You know, I will not fight you. Never. Never. I'll never turn the dark side. Blah blah blah, etc. Okay. And then, you know, the death scene. He wants to see, help him take off the mask, should die, nothing can stop that. Okay, and here's where he comes around to Luke. Cannot save his father, right? Father, I won't leave you. Even till the very end, right? Doesn't leave his father, never gives up hope, right? You know, Episode 4 is called A New Hope, right? It's Episode 4. Right, A New Hope. Yeah, A New Hope. Like, that's Luke, and that's Luke's character, it's hope. And Episode 8 shows us that Luke has that no more. And Mark Hamill even talks about this in interviews, like, what would make this character do that? And Episode 8 doesn't show us that. They show us a burning temple. When, you know, in Episode 4, you know, his parents are, well, I guess his step-parent, the people that are taking care of him, his uncle, aunt and uncle, they're killed, and then in, you know, in 5, he has his hand cut off, and his friend's kidnapped, and he's all beat up and busted up, and everything's a real fucking mess. And then in Episode 6, you know, he still has that hope, and he still got it through all of that. And then in Episode something happens in between Episode 6 and 8, and I guess it's the Jedi temple that he built burning down is what causes him to lose all hope. But instead of, and this is the real betrayal, because I understand the Yoda thing, where, like, you know, with the milk and all that stuff, he's kind of silly. Throwing the lightsaber over the shoulder thing is just bad writing, because, you know, the movie right before, one of the biggest moments of that movie is, holy crap, we finally get to see the lightsaber, you know. Like, and when she touches it, all these visions and all sorts of stuff happens, you know, and then Luke gets it and he just tosses it over his shoulder like it doesn't matter. It's you know, that's just bad writing. That's that's not watching what happened in Episode 7 and just writing whatever you wanted to. Because Rian Johnson had complete creative freedom to do whatever he wanted to. He rewrote the entire script that was already written. But the betrayal is he fights Kylo Ren. He fights his nephew, right? And he's just like, nah, you're a piece of crap. Die. You know, haha, I tricked you. You're not a good person. Haha. There's nothing good about you. You know, it doesn't make sense for the character. Where he's why, you know, wouldn't it make sense to say, like, you know, wouldn't it be a nice turnaround too, nice touch to just even say the same thing he said to his father? You know, I will not fight you. Where's the other one? I see the good in you. Yeah, it was the quote. I see the good, or whatever it is. I see. What the hell was it? Good in you. I know there's good in you. Yeah. See? Like, just give us something like that. I see the good in you. Because we've seen hints of it, too. You know? It's not like Kylo Ren is just... well, maybe he is now, but he wasn't completely lost, so why didn't Luke try to coax him over? You know, he just killed Snoke. You know? Surely Luke would have felt that, right? If he's as powerful as he is, where he can force ghosts across the universe, right? Or whatever he did. You know, it you know, it's just a complete it's a complete failure of the character. You know, like, even he's going to sacrifice himself. You know, search your feelings, Father. You can't do this. I feel the conflict within you. Let go of your hate. You know, search your feelings, Ben. I feel the conflict within you. Whatever, you know, whatever he says it. You know, like that's something that Luke would say. You know, even just giving us that nice nod, and maybe it doesn't work, but at least, you know, it would be something. But like after watching this movie, because at the very least, okay. So, you know, Episode 4, you know, you have Obi-Wan telling Luke Skywalker about his father, and he's got this long gaze, right? And we don't, when you know, from a release standpoint, you know, we have no idea what the hell happened. But, you know, we're not told that he killed kids, that he choked his wife to death, that you know, he was burned up in lava, and Obi-Wan got to see that. None of that. But we see that gaze, and when you rewatch that scene, it's masterful. You know. And it shows you how good of an actor Ewan McGregor is too, because all he had was that little bit to go off of, like just a little tiny bits and snippets, and he does such a faithful recreation of Obi-Wan, and even, like, you know, you have to be careful too, because with a prequel you can't mess up a character, and that's one of the things that they didn't do with these prequels. They didn't really mess anybody up. You know, they might have messed the Force up a little bit with the midichlorian thing, but at least in this movie, when Rey asks, well, what is the Force? Luke kind of goes, no, we don't talk about that. No. You know, okay, that's a fun little nod, right? But when that would have been fine, that would have fit Luke's character. Because Luke's kind of a funny character anyway. He's not like ha funny like a Yoda, right? Not a jokester. But I could understand where he would get that, you know, being a hermit and all that stuff. Yeah, I could see those weird characteristics come out. But to just completely betray your character, like Yoda didn't betray his character, right? Like, he was a jokester and all that stuff, right? But even now, even Episode 8 with that cameo, like, he's still that character is still faithful, you know, from the first time we saw him. It's still a pretty faithful recreation, but Luke is just fucking whatever the fuck, you know? It's just so bizarre. I didn't know, and it's something I didn't really pick up before. I didn't understand what people meant by when they said, like, Luke's character was destroyed. I'm thinking they're talking about all the silly stuff. No, they're talking about this scene. They're talking about Episode 8 where, you know, he just bullies. He bullies his nephew. Like, that's not something Luke would do. Sorry, it's just not. Oh, Star Wars. I miss you so bad. God, just like I liked The Force Awakens. It's a fun movie. It's kind of like Episode 1. It's got some funny parts in it. It's got some fun characters. It's definitely for kids. It's got, you know, action-packed scenes. You know, it's got some pretty good usage of color. and framing. You know, it's not a complete mess. It's watchable. It's fun. I bought the movie. You know, but man, The Last Jedi. I don't even want to wear my Star Wars shirts. You know, because it's such an embarrassment to say that. I can't say that I'm a Star Wars fan. I can't do it because it's well, because I'm not, I guess. You know, it's like, you know, I'm a fan of the band Baroness, and I like everything they've ever done. You know, I'm a fan of Mastodon. I like everything they've done. You know, I can't say I'm a fan of like Meshuggah, because I don't like everything they've done, but I like some of their music. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how I feel with Star Wars now. It's like, I didn't want to see Rogue One because I'm just not interested in that story. You know, people say it's a good movie, but the plot didn't interest me because I already know what's going to happen. And, you know, like with the prequels, I know what's going to happen at the very end, but I didn't know what's going to happen in that space in between, so there's some mystery there. At least I know Obi-Wan's going to live, and I know, you know, Anakin's going to live. But I know somebody else is going to die. I don't know who, you know. So, and, you know, with Rogue One, I already know what happens there. And with Solo, I just didn't want to see it. Because I don't want that character ruined for me. You know, I didn't want Han Solo to be destroyed, to be ruined. And, you know, I just... And it could be a good movie. I've seen good things about it, you know. But I think a lot of people are the same as me. It's like, you know, the Last Jedi just wasn't very good. It wasn't, and it's not just like it's just like an okay movie or anything. It's just bad. It's really bad. It's a really bad movie. You know, it has. Like, just from a writing standpoint, it makes no sense. From a directing standpoint, from an editing standpoint, you know, motivations of characters are all bizarre and weird. Rose, like, she goes from stopping Finn from leaving, so he can't do his duty, and then she stops him from doing his duty. You know, like. And there's no reason for it. Like, her character doesn't change. You know, Holdo, she doesn't do anything. Why doesn't she just, like, say, hey, look, we have a plan, and here's what it is. You know what I mean? She doesn't do that. Instead, she just, no, I'm not telling you. No. Everything's hush-hush. You just do what you're told. And that's not what a good leader does. But we're supposed to feel something about her. And it's like, you're not scoring points. I'm supposed to feel something when she sacrifices herself. But, like, you know, what if that was Leia doing everything that Holdo was doing? You know, like at least then there'd be some credibility there, right? But the entire time I'm watching the movie, I'm thinking that she's a spy. I'm thinking that she's a plant, you know? Or why isn't it, Akbar? I know I get it, he died, right? But you don't have to write it that way. You don't have to, like, okay, yeah, the thing blew up. Okay, he was taking a poop. You know, he wasn't on the ship, or Leia saved him, you know? Or, you know, maybe his species can survive in space a little bit better. And he's floating out there like, oh shit, this was a trap. And you know, he gets saved, and he goes, okay, this is what we're going to do. And he tells everybody what they're going to do, and then, we really need a code cracker. Well, I know a code cracker, you know, and that could have been Rose's line. I know a code cracker on this one planet. You know, and they go, and then Finn and Poe go off on an adventure. It's just like, it's so, or not even that, just don't even have that scene happen where the thing blows up. You don't even need that. Don't even need it. You know, you just show Kylo Ren going in for that kill, and he could have done it, and he chose not to. That's good enough. That's great storytelling as it is. You know, that hesitation, that showed that he still had some good in him. You know, and Luke would have sensed that. It's just sloppy writing. It doesn't make any sense. It's rushed. I think my belief is that Rian Johnson does not like Star Wars. And he doesn't like the fan base for whatever reason. And, you know, like, I remember watching Looper a long time ago, or however, like 10 years ago, I think it was, and enjoying the movie, right? I enjoyed it, but I enjoyed it because of it was silly. The premise is silly. It's fun, you know. And, you know, you send these people back in time to kill, you know, so they can be executed, because there are future, it's like kind of like thought police, if I remember right. It's been a while, but they can get you, they can stop you from killing people or some such crap. So you send them back in time to be executed. Okay, that's cool, right? I get it, but there's just as many plot holes and inconsistencies in that movie as there are in this. This movie might even have more. It betrayals a character, things that don't make sense, but it's okay because Looper's just it's like you watch, you know, it's not like there's like a lineage of fucking 7 other movies that are huger than huge. Just, you know, it's not like Looper was the biggest fucking franchise on the planet. No, it's just one movie, one throwaway, you know. You know, if you want to take a risk on something like this, well, why don't you give it to somebody like, I don't fucking know, the guy that did Moon? Or like, that's the only thing I can think of. Like, or just, what's the Transformer guy? Who's that? What's his name? Michael Bay. Give it to Michael Bay. Fucking who cares? You know? At the very least, there'd be some cool explosions and shit. You know, just, you know, at least fans would go, okay, it's a Michael Bay movie. Yeah, okay. You know, at least J.J. Abrams had, like, a coherent plot, and he was setting things up for another movie, and he had things sort of figured out, and the characters had at least, you know, reasonable motivations, and although, you know, Rey is like, Rey is like unbeatable, and she doesn't understand her powers, and how is all this stuff happening? I don't know. You know, when they're on the ship, on the Millennium Falcon, Rey and Finn are kind of like freaking out, because they don't know, how'd you do that? I don't know, how'd you do that? You know, they don't know what's going on, because it's a surprise to them. You know, there's a bit of I think there's a bit of Mary Sue going on, right? But, like, at the very least, it's a fun adventure movie, right? And here's another thing, too, okay? So, in Episode 7, General Hux, he delivers this speech, and he's a very serious character in that movie, and he delivers this speech so well. Let's see. General Hux speech. Destruction of the Republic, right? So, yeah, okay. Listen to this.
In a system far from here, the new Republic, to their cherished
right? Like, see what I'm saying?
all remaining systems
like,
will bow to the First Order, and will remember this as the last day of the Republic.
Right? You see what I'm saying? And then General Hux prank call. Right? And then juxtapose it with this, right?
They were headed back to
interfere with orders. Yes.
Oh, come on. It might not be out there. But anyway, if you've seen the movie, it's like essentially he gets pranked. you know. But, oh, and it's fixed, yeah. I'm sure other people feel the same way. But, you know, like, even like the Lego Star Wars, I'm sure this is
the end of the Republic. This fierce machine which you have built, upon which we stand.
See, all right, that right there is something that would have happened in Episode 8, but it's in a cartoon, you know, a kid's game, you know. See, like, it's my favorite scenes of Star Wars, Force Awakens.
Is the end of the Republic. The
Right?
end of a regime that acquiesces to disorder.
Right? People like that, you know. But then the very next time you see him, just about. Oh god. The very next time you see him, just about, he's the butt of a joke. He's a fucking caricature. He's whiny and slimy. There's no strength to him. Just a complete fail. It just failed that character again. Like, it's same thing with Finn, and you know, like, you know, wasn't he supposed to like struggle against what's her face, the armored chick, the silver armored stormtrooper? Like, isn't that supposed to happen at some point? Doesn't really. You know, like, just. They've made the assumption that I care about characters that don't struggle, and I just don't care about characters that don't struggle. You know,